Hi, I'm Vinny, and this is Vinny's View. I just got done with seeing a movie called State of Play. That's bright out here, coming out of that dark theater. Anyway, I just saw State of Play with Russell Crowe and Ben Affleck, a taut political thriller. Really a lot of action. Really a really cool, pretty cool movie. Movie that, you know, was a long movie, but I stayed with it the whole movie. It was a lot of twists and turns, and pretty cool. I'm in the parking lot and I'm trying to find my car. Listen, I'm going to go back to the studio, which is my minivan, and I will get right back to you about the rest of the movie. Oh, hi. Whoop, that's better. Okay, I'm in the van. Like I said, I just saw State of Play. It was a really, I thought it was a really cool movie. I kind of knew what it was about to begin. It was like a political thriller, kind of a political newspaper thriller. If you ever saw Pelican Brief, it had a little feel like that, but without Julia Roberts. I thought it was interesting. I mean, obviously I love Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe always gives a great performance. He is amazing. He really is an amazing actor. And actually, Ben Affleck wasn't bad either. I mean, sometimes I think he gets a bad rap. I think he actually is a pretty decent actor, and he was very good in this as a congressman, kind of caught up in this sort of corruption. Basically, the story is he was as a congressman, he was on a special committee investigating I guess they're a defense contractor that maybe was doing a little too much. Actually, if you see 24 of this season, it's very similar sort of story to that, where there's a defense contractor that's feeling its oats a little too much and maybe is involved a little too much in the country's security, and he's basically as a congressman trying to run him out of town, kind of in that way. There's a murder. There's a couple of murders, and basically it's a story that starts out as just it looks like just a regular murder, and really just unfolds and unfolds and unfolds as Russell Crowe's character is he's a reporter. He's a seasoned veteran reporter. He's been around a long time. He's kind of fighting technology a little bit. He uses a pen. He is always writing with a pen and paper. He has a 16-year-old computer, so it's kind of the low tech, great seasoned reporter, and he basically unpeels this onion and kind of unpeels it, and the more he unpeels it, the worse it gets for all the characters involved. Ben Affleck happens to be a friend of his from college. There is they have a definite past, especially dealing with Ben Affleck's wife, who played by Robin Wright Penn, and he had an affair with her, and there's a lot of backstory to their relationship. So it was a very interesting movie. Maybe a little predictable at the end, and it kind of comes to a head, and then you think everything's great, and then it keeps going. So I don't want to give too much away, and I don't like to do that. I don't like anyone does that in a movie. But I thought it was definitely worth a watch. If you like those type of political thrillers, and certainly the Woodward and Bernstein type of political thriller, I was talking about that movie, about Pelican Brief, a little bit. It has a very serious tone to it, although it has some comic undertones. I think Russell Crowe's character, and he really brings amazing depth to his performances. I mean, his performances are just brilliant. He had the character had a sense of humor to it, but also obviously there was a lot of seriousness going on because of the story. Rachel McAdams plays this kind of a blog reporter, and she kind of gets wind of this story, and she's more of a gossip columnist type of reporter. She kind of gets hooked into the story from the gossip end, because there happens to be an affair involved in it as well. So she gets hooked into with Russell Crowe. She's obviously very high tech, very high end. She's on the cutting edge. She's writing a story every hour, basically. He writes a story every week or two, because he's a very in-depth kind of reporter. And I think the pairing of those two working the case together, working the story together, is actually very interesting, because it's kind of the old school against the new school. So I thought that was very, very interesting. Also, if you look more deep into it, it's actually, it really deals with what's going on today with how newspapers are fighting against online newspapers, basically online news, and how newspapers are really being threatened in a lot of ways, and that comes up in the movie as well. I think that's very interesting, how you see the contrast of the newspaper trying to stay alive, trying to get a really juicy story, but also, you know, they're trying to stay alive up against basically online news. And I think that you know, there was a point in the story where they could have run a really juicy story, you know, almost sort of a tabloidy, gossipy story, but the Russell Crowe character decided to, you know, to forego that for the sake of the bigger story, which you know, again, it's that they're fighting that thing with the, you know, with you know, should you go with something that's more gossipy, something that's more, you know, spur of the moment, something that goes on that should be online, or something, you know, that's really a, you know, a newspaper that has a lot of integrity and wants to run the full story rather than running this gossipy story. So I thought that was really interesting. Okay, so in terms of the cast was actually really terrific in this movie. It was an amazing cast. It was you had Rachel McAdams, you had Russell Crowe, you had if you don't know who Rachel McAdams is, she was in The Wedding Crasher. She's been in a lot of movies, mostly comedies. Actually, she did a pretty nice job here doing something a little more serious. You had Jeff Daniels, who's a terrific actor. You had Ben Affleck, I thought was very good. Viola Davis has a small role in this. She was recently nominated for Doubt this past year in 2008. You also had Helen Mirren as this kind of crusty editor, and she was great. I mean, she just is, you know, full of F-bombs and whatever it is, but she's really, and she's just a tremendous actress, and she brings a lot of gravity to any scene, and she's amazing as usual. She was in it quite a bit, and she had a very big role. I'm trying to think who else was in it. It was really just a tremendous cast, and you know, again, Ben Affleck I thought was actually pretty good. Oh, and Robin Wright Penn, of course, and I thought she was a little underused in this movie. She's a tremendous actress, and I'm not sure why she's not getting great roles lately. I don't know, maybe she's feeling like she wants to do something else. I don't know. She's a good actress. She's Jenny in Forrest Gump. I mean, we know her, and married to one of the great actors of all time, Sean Penn. So I think overall it was a great cast. Lots of twists and turns. If you like that kind of thing, if you like it changing every kind of 10, 20, 30 minutes, it kind of changes course like a river, just keeps moving into different directions. If you like that kind of movie, I think you'll like this. If you like the great cast, I think you'll like this. Certainly if you like Russell Crowe, he's just really one of the great actors working today. I think you would like it. So I liked it. This is my first review, so I think it was nice to be able to do my first review with a movie I actually enjoyed, so that was good. You know, as I go along here, I'm not going to give you any rating system. I think rating systems are, I don't know, what is 5, I mean, I know what 5 stars mean, what does 3 stars mean? I'm just going to say this is worth seeing. If this is the type of movie you like, there wasn't a ton of violence in it, so I think, you know, there's nothing really to be squeamish about. I thought it was worth seeing, so I'm going to say worth seeing, and give it a shot. So if you have any comments about this review and you have any questions, certainly fire back at me. I'd love to hear what you think. If you saw the movie, let me know, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I missed anything. Open to criticism, my first review. So that's it for now. I'm Vinny, and this was Vinny's View, and I'll see you next time.